Talk a little bit about, because I kind of want to go all the way down to something like really basic. Like talk a little bit about education, medicine, like what are some of the advances there that you could see across the entire world? Because I think we see line of sight to some of those right now.
Yeah, I think education for me is one that I'm extremely interested in. Actually, if we weren't going to successfully start an AI company, one of my backups was to do a programming education company, because I think the way that you teach people today, like everyone has a story about that one teacher who really understood them, who took the time to get to know them, learn what motivated them, and just like really inspired them to do more. And imagine if you could give that kind of teacher to every student 24/7 whenever they want for free. Like that, it's still a little bit science fiction, but it's much less science fiction than it used to be. And you can look at things like Khan Academy, who are really starting to take GPT-4 and deploy it in the classroom and really figure out how to steer this technology so that it's a helpful tutor. That if kid asks for, oh, just do my homework for me, it'll say, no, I don't do that. But are you, and really tries to probe to figure out what they're excited about and how to really motivate them. And so I think that this kind of technology of just reaching global scale and figuring out how do you get the best out of people, like that is the realm that we're starting to enter now.
To zoom back a little bit from that and touch on something that Reid said earlier, a thing that I really deeply believe is that all, or at least almost all, but maybe all real sustainable economic growth comes from technological progress. And I think we have somewhat, and maybe the sort of the socio-political institutions and culture that help us get that technological progress. I think we've kind of forgotten that to varying degrees as a society. But I think it's like very important and very true and good not to forget. And so the way that I think what we're doing helps the other 7 billion people is not that different. I mean, it'll hopefully be greater in magnitude than previous technologies, but technology is kind of how we lift everybody up.
One of the things that happens, is like take the education field, which we all feel very strongly and passionately about. You get resistance because teachers worry that they're going to get replaced because you're going to have the AI tutors. Let's talk a little bit about how teachers are going to be amplified. I think one obvious one that I've already talked to both of you about is really helping with grading and that kind of thing, so they can spend more time actually with the students. Say a little bit about like what this amplification means for teachers, and it's part of the reason why this would be a future that they would want and to be steering towards. It's an amplification future, not a replacement future.
Yeah, I think this is actually a great example because of the arc it's gone through. Started off, the reception was almost universally negative from teachers. This is going to end the take-home essay. It's going to end what I have to do here. It's going to make my students not think. Teachers are now, on the whole, some of the biggest advocates of this technology, requiring their students to use it, integrating it in all sorts of creative ways into part of their lesson plans. But this is like really happening and in a big way now in classrooms. And ChatGPT is only like 4.5 months old. And so it has already gone through the arc of people saying this is the end of education to this is the future of education. And I think we will see that in other fields in all sorts of ways.
Yeah, just to add to that, one of my brothers used to be a teacher, and I remember seeing how he would plan his lessons and get his homework problems. And, there's these static banks of questions that you just kind of pull from, and, that there's all these questions about teaching to the test and all of these issues that it's hard to be a teacher. Like it's hard to actually come up with like fresh content that's really tailored to your students, to what you want to accomplish. And I think that we're starting to see technology that's actually able to help with that, and kind of for whatever thing you want to do that's tailored to your specific context, it's now possible.